It began with a single thread snapping. One moment the crowded hallway at Wilson High was just the usual swirl of lockers slamming and sneakers squeaking. The next, a sharp rip sliced through the chatter, freezing everyone in place. Nia Carter, 15, new, 3 days into her freshman year, stood motionless as the back of her plaid uniform skirt tore open in a bully's fist. Laughter, first a stifled giggle, then a wave of cruel hysteria, echoed off the tiled walls. Someone's phone flashed. Someone else whistled. Only 60 seconds later those same kids would be on the floor, palms raised, begging for mercy, but right now no one could imagine how. Even Nia's own heart hammered with shock instead of anger. She tasted metallic fear and something older, heavier, the bone-deep ache of being singled out, the unspoken rule that a black girl who walks taller than others should expect a hit to the knees. A teacher's footsteps clicked somewhere distant, too slow to matter. Nia felt cool air where fabric should be, felt eyes circle her like vultures, felt the hush before humiliation blooms. Her gaze locked on the ringleader, Brad Collins' varsity grin, Letterman jacket, confident in the armor of popularity. He balled the torn cloth and smirked, certain he owned the moment. But a flicker crossed Nia's face, subtle as lightning behind clouds. Anyone paying real attention might have caught it, the flash of decision that can upend an entire food chain. She inhaled once, steadying herself. The hallway seemed to bend, voices dulling to a low throb. All the stories her grandmother told about turning pain into power gathered in her chest like coiled thunder. Brad noticed the change too late. In the space between the next heartbeat and the teacher's arrival, something unseen shifted. A phone flew from a bystander's grip. A sneaker slipped. Shock widened eyes that had been laughing a breath earlier. And Nia, still silent, skirt hanging, dignity in shreds, took one deliberate step forward. Everything after that first step would rewrite the rules of Wilson High. But for now the hallway hangs in a charged silence, seconds from eruption. The first bell on Monday had barely faded when Nia Carter had walked through the front doors. Transferring from a public charter across town, where gifted programs were funded only every other year. Her mother's promotion as head surgical nurse meant a better zip code, but not, as it turned out, safer ground. On day 1, classmates clocked her quick wit and sharper tongue. On day 2, rumors spread. She'd skipped a grade. She read entire science journals for fun. She wasn't afraid to raise her hand and correct a teacher. By day 3, envy mixed with the casual prejudice simmering just beneath Wilson High's glossy brochures. Brad Collins had sensed fresh prey. Star wide receiver, future scholarship. He held court in the sophomore hall like a minor monarch. His crew, Dylan, Max, and Hannah, were less original than their curated Instagram personas suggested, but together they set the hallway's temperature. The moment Nia brushed past them, earbuds in, chin high, Brad decided to make an example. "Know your level," he muttered, loud enough for laughs. What he didn't know, Nia's level had been forged in harder fires. At her old school, she'd tutored kids twice her size in exchange for safe passage home. She trained after class at the community rec center where Coach Rivera taught Krav Maga to anyone who could keep steady eye contact. She had learned how to breathe through fear, how to spot exits, how to turn momentum on itself. What she hadn't learned was how to stay invisible. Visibility, her grandmother preached, is the birthright of girls whose ancestors were told to shrink. Still, even a practiced fighter can be blindsided by cruelty dressed as prank. The ripping of her skirt triggered a flashback to age 9. Neighborhood boys pelting her with mulch because she'd won the spelling bee. Same laughter, same cell phones. That day she'd run. Today she stood. In the seconds following the tear, adrenaline surged. Not the wild kind that scatters thought, but the cool variety that slows time. She noticed Hannah's rings, perfect for catching a shirt sleeve. Dylan's unlaced Jordans. Max's phone already live-streaming. She considered consequences, zero-tolerance policies, the risk of being labeled aggressive. She weighed them against her grandmother's words. Never start the fire, child, but if they light it, be the storm that ends it. Her decision crystallized as the teacher's footsteps neared. Yet before any adult could intervene, fate added a wild card. Leo Martinez, quiet comic book artist, stepped from the art wing holding a bottle of fluorescent blue paint that a stumbling Max would knock straight into Brad's designer jacket, setting off a domino chain none of them saw coming. Blue droplets arced through fluorescent light, baptizing the king of the hallway. Gasps replaced laughter. Phones swung around to capture Brad's howl of rage. But the real pivot wasn't the paint, it was the way Nia calmly caught Leo's elbow, steadying him, meeting his terrified eyes with a nod that said, "You're safe with me." That single gesture shifted onlookers from mockery to curiosity. Something larger than humiliation was about to unfold. Chaos can be loud, but sometimes escalation whispers. As Brad swiped futilely at dripping paint, the hallway seemed to inhale, every witness deciding whether to side with fear or fascination. Phones hovered like fireflies, streaming live to feeds where emojis burst in real time. Nia noted the pixels of her own image reflected back, skirt torn, confidence intact. She refused to cover the rip. Let them see, she thought. Shame does not belong to me. Leo muttered apologies, trembling. It was an accident, he whispered. But Brad's ego, soaked and stinging, sought a target bigger than paint. He jabbed a finger at Nia. This your guard dog now? Spatter glistened on his chin. You two planning a show? Nia felt the hallway's moral compass tilt. Bystanders waited, nobody moved. The vice principal's office lay 20 steps away, yet no adult appeared. Such is the geometry of school violence, authority often arrives one corner too late. Meanwhile, Dylan and Hannah began corralling viewers, pushing them outward to form a filthy kind of arena. The circle tightened. Nia caught fragments of murmured bets. Would Brad swing? Would the new girl cry? And beneath them, subtler undercurrents, microaggressions about attitude, angry phase, comments coded enough to pass casual review yet sharp enough to bleed dignity. Let them underestimate me, she thought. Underestimation is camouflage. She breathed in, the Krav Maga training surfacing like muscle memory. Rule 1. De-escalate if possible. Rule 2. If you must engage, end it fast. The floor tiles reflected harsh ceiling light. She pinpointed slickness near Brad's left shoe from the paint, perfect for a sweep. But before motion could become action, a new element entered. Ms. Green, senior journalism advisor, her camera-ready phone raised not as a weapon but as record. Everyone step back, she said, voice calm yet broadcasting authority. I'm documenting. Her presence changed the game. Adults witnessing alters the script. Brad's bravado flickered. Yet tension only evolved. Hannah hissed, turn that off or I'll sue. Ms. Green didn't. Instead, she spoke one line that would later trend under #StandWithNia. If you're proud of your actions, you shouldn't mind a permanent record. Subplot threads emerged. Leo's secret comic about anti-bullying heroes discovered by classmates. Dylan's scholarship hanging on conduct reviews. Hannah's parents, donors to the digital media lab, forcing the administration's hand. Nia sensed these undercurrents but kept eyes trained on Brad. Then the unexpected, the fire alarm. A shrill klaxon split the air. Someone, never identified, had yanked the pull station. Red strobes painted faces. Protocol dictated evacuation, scattering witnesses and giving Brad a dangerous window for retaliation away from cameras. Nia grabbed Leo's wrist. Stay close. Smoke? None. False alarm. But the stampede toward exits threatened injury worse than a tear. As they moved, Nia glimpsed graffiti newly revealed under peeling paint. Silence feeds bullies. The words sparked resolve. Outside on the lawn, students milled beneath gray clouds. Brad's posse hovered near the gym doors, plotting. Ms. Green talked rapidly into her phone, calling oversight? Maybe. But the authority who arrived first was Coach Rivera on campus for a district meeting, still in his rec center windbreaker. He spotted Nia, skirt ripped, eyes bright with the storm. Recognition flashed. He strode over, voice low. You good? I will be, she said. And for the first time since the rip, her smile surfaced, not soft, but steel. Rain threatened, wind picking up littered worksheets across the lawn like frantic birds. Administration herded students into loose lines, but electricity buzzed through the crowd, rumor outraced order. Clips of Brad's paint-splattered meltdown trended across local teen accounts, views climbing by the second. Hashtags bloomed. Hashtag Blue Jacket Brad. Hashtag Rip Not Broken. Hashtag Karma in 60 seconds. Brad scrolled furiously, rage-curdling as he watched his public image crumble in real time. Dylan peered at the phone over Brad's shoulder, realizing scholarship committees would also see. Panic widened his face, blame sought new direction. Across the quad, Coach Rivera and Ms. Green formed a quiet alliance. They listened as Nia outlined each moment, her voice steady despite the torn cloth flapping against her legs. Rivera phoned campus security to request footage. Green posted a measured statement, documenting misconduct is not defamation, it's accountability. Like spiked, faculty group chats ignited. But the storms I sat within Brad's tightening circle. Hannah, noticing her father's name tagged in student tweets, hissed, fix this now. Brad clenched his phone until knuckles blanched. His solution was primitive: force Nia to delete videos, apologize publicly, restore his standing. He forgot two facts: cell tower latency means nothing is ever fully deleted, and cornered dignity fights hard. Security announced all students would wait in the auditorium while firefighters cleared the building. Inside, the stage lights cast sharp shadows. Brad maneuvered his crew to intercept Nia along a side aisle where curtains swallowed sight lines. Leo trailed Nia, sketchbook clutched like a shield. Again the arena formed, this time softer voices, acoustics absorbing threats. Brad's tone dropped to a growl. Hand over your phone. Nia's answer, no, simple, unshaken. He grabbed her wrist, Rivera's self-defense lessons triggered. In a fluid twist, she rotated, applying pressure that bent his arm and pivoted his balance. Paint-slick soles betrayed him. Brad landed hard on the auditorium's wooden floor. Gasps, phone cameras emerged like witnesses summoned by conscience. Brad's own followers streamed the scene. Yet the climax still loomed. Vice Principal Hawthorne appeared, drawn by noise. He saw Brad prone, Nia standing, crowd filming. Optics messy. Policy demanded investigation, but donors demanded quiet. Hawthorne's eyes darted to Hannah. Before he could speak, auditorium doors slammed and external lock engaged. Someone had sealed them in. Over the PA, a distorted voice echoed, since you all love a show, sit tight. Let's see who cracks first. The microphone hissed off. Lights flickered. A real lockdown, unauthorized. Screams rose, tension spiked from social scandal to potential danger. Nia scanned exits, stage door, fire curtain, backstage hallway. Brad, stunned, sat up. Fear replaced fury. In the darkened hush between flickers, moral lines blurred, bully and victim now shared peril. Emergency lights painted the auditorium in uneasy crimson. The PA system crackled again, this time silent except for faint breathing, a phantom puppeteer tugging their nerves. Students whispered panicked theories: prank gone wrong, disgruntled senior, outside intruder. Nia's instinct put her in motion. She ushered Leo and two freshmen beneath the stage, a crawlspace lined with dusty prop trunks. There she found the fuse box padlocked, yet accessible through a maintenance hatch. If she could restore steady light, panic might ease. Meanwhile, Hawthorne attempted calm, but each harsh shout amplified chaos. Brad, jacket stiff with dried paint, pivoted from fear to leverage. He knew the auditorium's backstage passages. In middle school he'd hidden there to skip math. He proposed a truce to Nia, worked together to unlock doors. She studied him, eyes wild, hands shaking, facade shattered. Betrayal is bridge, irony thick. But a deeper revelation surfaced. Hannah's phone buzzed with a text from her older brother, graduated last year. Our prank step 2 ready? Tell Brad to cue smoke. Evidence of orchestrated intimidation, fire alarm, lockdown, staged humiliation, all to create a viral stunt for a private Discord. Hannah's face blanched. She hadn't signed up for terror spiraling beyond control. Nia overheard. Anger sharpened focus. The mastermind wasn't some faceless villain, it was the very clique now trembling. Moral stakes spiked: expose them and risk their futures? Or leverage knowledge for safety? Betrayal cut both ways. She turned to Brad. Your people did this. Make it stop. I can't, he whispered. Not anymore. Connection unknown had locked remote controls. Suddenly, smoke seeped from vents, harmless theater fog, but enough to ignite alarms in their minds. Students coughed, stampeded toward doors that wouldn't budge. Leo's asthma flared, he wheezed. Nia dropped to read his inhaler gauge, 2 puffs left. Stakes became literal breath. Brad stared at the chaos he'd helped birth and broke. Tears streaked paint on his cheeks. He vowed aloud, I'll make it right. Hannah clutched his sleeve. Dylan handed over an override key fob stolen from AV Club. It controlled backstage side doors, maybe others. Together, unlikely allies crossed the smoke-laden stage. Brad's trembling hand extended the fob to Nia. In that gesture, lines blurred, bully begging for forgiveness, victim holding power. She pressed the button. A click echoed. One exit sign glowed green. But as the door swung, a figure in black hoodie stepped through, tablet in hand, signal jammer visible. The real puppeteer. Their mask sported the school's wolf mascot, eyes glowing LED red. The mastermind wasn't Brad, it was someone else entirely. The wolf-masked intruder advanced, tablet flickering code. With a thumb swipe they relatched exits, nullifying the fob. The crowd gasped as lights died entirely, save for the mask's red glow. Fear morphed to primal silence. Showtime. The modulated voice sneered. Broadcast through the PA. On the back wall, a projector lit up, playing a montage of humiliating clips. Students tripping, private moments in locker rooms, hateful memes. The puppeteer had mined phones all year, hoarding secrets as currency. Now they cashed in. Nia stepped forward, fists unclenching. Why do this? The wolf turned. Because pain gets likes. Because no one stopped it when it was me. The sentence cracked, feminine tone beneath distortion. Students exchanged glances. Some recognized that sorrow. Brad whispered, Maya? Referencing a tech club loaner they teased sophomore year. Recognition spread. The mask shifted but denied. Doesn't matter who, the voice snapped. Today we balance the scales. Balance? Nia thought of scales her ancestors broke free from. She drew a breath, remembered Krav Maga lesson. Disarm, disable, protect. But violence here risked stampede. She needed intellect. Her eyes darted to the dusty lightboard near stage wing, analog, untouched by the hacker's digital lockout. If she could blind the mask's optics by seconds. She signaled Leo, circuit breaker diagram they'd seen earlier. Leo nodded, clutching inhaler. Brad caught the plan, moved to flank. Redemption shaped in real time, the bully shielding those he'd harmed. He whispered apology. Nia answered earn it. They separated. The masked figure ranted, projecting more secrets, tension spiking. Whispers turned to sobs as private shames aired. Empathy cut through mob mentality, students saw reflections of their own cruelty. Nia reached the ladder to the light grid. Ascended silently. Below, Brad stalled the wolf with trembling speech, you win. I was garbage. Let them go. The wolf hesitated, pain surfacing. On the grid, Nia located the manual floodlights, still wired to old breaker. She yanked the lever. Blinding white flared. The mask's LED eyes overloaded, the figure staggered. Brad lunged, knocking tablet free. Hannah seized it, slamming jammer off. Door locks clicked open. Fresh air streamed with hallway lights. Security burst in. The wolf tried to run, but Nia descended, blocking path. Coach Rivera entered right behind, restraint cuffs ready. The mask slipped off, revealing Maya Walters. Tear-stained, trembling. Neither monster nor hero, but a mirror of ignored suffering. Sirens wailed. Students poured out, shaken yet free. Amid chaos, Brad approached Nia. Thank you, he said, voice small. Nia met his gaze. Skirt still torn, but eyes victorious. Unexpected twist. Ms. Green, live stream still rolling, announced the school board watching promised restorative justice over expulsion. Maya's skills would be harnessed for cybersecurity anti-bullying initiatives. The bully and the bullied would rebuild together or fail trying. Morning light the next day painted Wilson High's front steps gold, as if the building hoped to start over too. News vans clustered, headlines read Students Unite After Lockdown Horror. But inside, the halls felt quieter, conversations softer. Where ridicule once echoed, eyes now lingered with apology or admiration. Nia entered wearing a borrowed uniform skirt, stride unbroken. Leo walked beside her, sketchbook newly filled with panels of masked villains and unexpected heroes. He planned to publish an online graphic novella titled Ripped Not Broken, proceeds to charity. They passed Brad scrubbing paint flecks from his locker, a self-imposed penance. He looked up. Lunch? He asked. She considered, then nodded. Redemption grows in small invitations. In the library, Maya sat flanked by district tech officers, transforming her hacking talent into lesson plans on cyber ethics. She glanced up as Nia approached. I never meant to scare you, she murmured. I just wanted someone to feel what I felt. I did feel it, Nia replied. And I won't forget. But we choose what pain makes of us. She offered Maya a handshake. Cameras flashed quietly, Ms. Green documenting accountability's softer face. That afternoon in assembly replaced regular classes. Vice Principal Hawthorne, humbled, announced a student-led council on safety and inclusion. Applause met the motion, even seniors and used to clapping for admin joined in. When Nia stepped to the podium, torn skirt stitched into a sash across her uniform, she spoke a single sentence that later captioned countless reshares. A hallway is only safe when every voice can walk through it wearing dignity. Silence held, then thunderous applause lifted the rafters. Outside, clouds parted. Coach Rivera slapped a flyer on the bulletin board, free self-defense workshops open to all. Leo's illustration of a girl standing over a dripping paint can adorn the poster. As final bell rang, Nia's phone buzzed with a notification, her grandmother's message, proud of you. Storms end. Roots remain. She smiled, slipped the phone away, and walked toward the horizon of the track field where freshmen practiced relay handoffs, passing hope forward. If you've ever watched cruelty unfold and wondered whether one step could change everything, remember Nia's story. Stand up, speak out, and share this video so no voice walks these halls alone. Tap like, hit subscribe, and join our community of upstanders, because the next life-changing 60 seconds might be yours to own.